So I've actually watched Jeff's video now about this rejected petition. I actually made a response to Jeff just before I'd watched the video because I was kind of like compelled to speak to him because like just of the title was so compelling. I have got a few things to add, and I still stick to my first statement that we're being ripped off by the Petitions Committee. Jeff draws attention to the statement they say about contains false, libel, or whatever information, and he's drawing the connection between that statement to figures within petitions, like, for example, statistics or figures or claims or statements in a petition that may or may not be factual, but may or may not be correct. That's what Jeff thinks that the Petitions Committee is saying when they said that, and I don't agree or disagree with him. Usually, the Petitions Committee say that when they just think that you're saying something that's wrong, factually wrong, or, but the thing is, they've said that to me when I've just written out an existing procedure, quoted it from legislation, and then linked to another petition as an example, which they've already published, and that can't be wrong. And they've not published it on that basis, and they're just making it up. So I stay with my previous statement. When Jeff was talking about the details contained within the petition itself, I've actually gone to great lengths to put very, very intellectual legislative procedure that I've quoted from law. I want to use this or that procedure, special procedure. And they've even rejected that when it's like copied exactly. So they're either not, they aren't up to standard, they aren't to a standard, which means they're stupid, or they're not as clever as they think, or they're just bluffing. And this is a conclusion that I've come to believe, that they're just blagging it, they're just bluffing it. And the whole standards, punctuation and so forth can be kind of corrected without changing the writ of the petition, like various spelling mistakes and so forth. Now, what the thing that I wanted to add to Jeff, if he's listening, about what he said about how it's written, there's actually two things I want to say. The first thing is, and I really don't want this video to go on for long because I don't really want to take too much of his time to have to listen to it, even if he just bother to listen to it or not. So the thing is, right, what is a petition? It is a legal case. It is proceedings in law. And we don't want to lose sight of that. Now, it doesn't matter what you write in the petition because it's your claim. And when you submit receipts or statements to have a case heard, what you're wanting to get is a debate in Parliament. Although things can be actioned and sent to various departments, and the MPs can push for things to be done and so forth. It doesn't have to be a debate. This is what they're saying. But usually that's what their main selling point is for 100,000 for a debate, right? Now, the debate is the legal equivalent of getting a court hearing or trial, really. It is the equivalent. The thing with a petition is you're gathering evidence of public concern and support while you submit or gather facts and evidence and lay them. And the signatures are evidence of public concern or support. And the thing is that with, like in these Extinction Rebellion cases and so forth, with the jury, they can decide on point of law or just on their opinion on what they think, right? So, it doesn't really matter what the legislation says or not, to be honest, at the end of the day, particularly when you ask him to, get legislation changed or amended or new legislation made, or just for a certain action or an investigation, which will find out the facts. A public inquiry Evidence to substantiate a public inquiry, you don't actually need facts or proof or evidence to be right or wrong, because like when in the Inquiries Act, once a petition is handed to a minister or appears to a minister, however it's conjured before him, right, if you yourself have got compelling evidence that would merit an inquiry, it can be actioned on that, right? But the inquiry is to investigate something to find out what happened. We don't know what did or didn't happen. That's the point. So how can you submit anything that's false or libelous or misleading? You only have to have reasonable doubt, beyond reasonable doubt. Like in a legal case, is beyond reasonable doubt that there's something worth investigating here. So how is that, fact or non-fact? Beyond reasonable doubt, that the 20-mile-an-hour speed limits, but the thing is, it's you're collecting public concern, and the public want it, regardless of what the facts are. There might not be compelling evidence to show beyond reasonable doubt that something did or didn't happen, like at Hillsborough, right? You could have evidence that shows beyond reasonable doubt that something did happen and it should be investigated, right? But even if you didn't, the people signing it might want an investigation. There's great public concern for an investigation once they sign it, right? And they want it investigated to find out if or if not. Well, we don't know until the inquiry has actually discovered it. But if the public want the inquiry, right? So the public are actually, their statements are that they want it looking at, regardless of the facts. They still want it looking at. Now, this is the thing when it comes to the Petitions Committee rejecting it. If you need 100,000 signatures to compel the MP to have an inquiry, even if there's not reasonable evidence to show it, but the people still want it, you are not going to compel them with 20 signatures. This is like if they're obstructing you collecting the 100,000 signatures to say that the public want it anyway, even if, there's no reason to assume that there was anything wrong. For example, at Hillsborough, if there wasn't any compelling evidence, but the public still wanted an inquiry into it anyway, because they were still concerned, they can have it. But if the Petition Committee reject it and don't let them collect the great weight and evidence of public concern, right, then how can you have it? Now, they would only sign it, if there was some evidence to try and prove that they should sign it, but there might not be. Now, this is the thing. The Petitions Committee are trying to say that they're deciding that your statement or your evidence or your facts are false, libelous, or untrue, but they're acting as if they are the inquiry, but they're not, because we don't know for sure. So that's the point of having an inquiry. Now, you can't have an inquiry if they're obstructing you from collecting the public concern through signatures, regardless of, what the facts are. That's what the inquiry will find out when you have it. So they're beating around the bush. They're trying to play judge, jury, clerk, are the Petitions Committee serving as clerk, secretariat? Are they serving as judge? They're not serving as jury. They won't let the jury sign it to compel them to have the inquiry, regardless of if the facts are libelous, false, or questionable, which the inquiry will establish. So they really are. I don't think the Petitions Committee know what their role or position is. I think they're trying to play all roles and positions. Secretary of State for Transport. Where's my secretary? Where's the secretary? Where's my secretary? Write me a letter. The secretary to the people, right? Or, not the Secretary of State to the Minister. Oh, this is the Prime Minister's personal secretary. No, the Secretary of the State, of the people. Secretary, we, the 100,000 here, compel you to write us a letter, because we tell you to, because you're our secretary. That is the situation, how I believe it to be. But yet they're thinking that it's Rishi Sunak's company. He's the boss. He owns the joint, and he appoints his own secretary, own personal secretary, who is not secretary to the state. This secretary to Rishi Sunak, but it's not his secretary. It's our secretary. This is the problem. And just whose government is it? This is the thing. Was it? Well, clearly it's Charles's government. This is that's the joke. Not funny. And the final point. So yeah, the petitions committee I think they're blagging it, and they're trying to play intellectual. When if you actually do submit an intellectual petition, then it either goes straight over the top of their head, and they're not that intellectual, or they play dumb. And the final point is Jeff's kind of got this sort of approach where he's kind of like, what is all this petitioning malarkey? What are all this petitioning business? Is there any point to petitions? What is the point to them? They don't seem to work, when people are, using other means to get things done, like, writing in the streets or whatever it is they do, Extinction Rebellion, blocking roads off, protesting, or whatever they get about doing. So Jeff's kind of like, are these things a little bit pointless? Well, I think that the government are trying to make everyone believe they're pointless because they're just failing them all the time. And if it's almost like trying to get your car started, if it just won't start, what's wrong with it? What's wrong with this petitions committee? The petitions are, really, you can't get them started. It's like a car not starting. Well, I'd say, Jeff says, like, what's the point in them? Well, I want to say to Jeff, if I can, that, so the petitions are the way of doing things, just like writing to your council. It is the way of doing something. It is the way of asking or ordering for something. It's almost like saying, what's this McDonald's malarkey all about? If you want some food, why don't you just go into a field and, cull a cow or, fry up a lamb steak, we've got a procedure, it's called a drive-through, or they can go pick some berries or whatever. But, the petitions is meant to be the process by which we ask for things doing, right? And what's happening, it's almost, if you went into McDonald's, like, I don't know why I'm using this example. It's the worst example ever because I don't even want to promote McDonald's, but if you went into McDonald's and you asked, you went in there and the staff were behind the counter and you just kind of said, looked at the menu and it said, Big Mac, chicken McSandwich, fries, quarter pounder, and you just like read it and it's there in writing and you said, can you have, a Big Mac meal, please, and with a large Coke? And then the staff just like, just shrugged and went, nah, mate. No, you can't. And you're like, this is a restaurant, isn't it? I'd like a burger, please. No, not. You're not having a burger. You can't. I'm not serving you. Well, but why? I don't want to. You'd be like, just a minute. Is this where you order food? This is a till. Yes, let me check. This is where you order the food. There's the menu. There's a member of staff. Can I have it says there, I'll have that number 65 with a chicken McSandwich. We'll have a, 20-mile-an-hour speed limit petition amalgamated with 90,000 signatures from Joe Blogs, Secretary of State for Transport's breakfast, and Mr. Kipling says, have a nice day. This is it. But it's like faulty towers. Then it's not it's not functioning properly. It's faulty, and I don't think that it's the law that's necessarily wrong. Although I've seen errors in law, it's the staff, it's the people, and they're not working properly. They're not functioning properly. It's like you cannot start in, but it's a human. It's a HR they call it, or it's a human resources problem. It's the ministers. There's a problem with them. They're not operating properly. They're not working properly. So you might say, well, so that this is what Jeff's saying. Yes, what's this? All this Verb says this quite often. What's all this petition malarkey? Is there any point in them? Not a waste of time. But yeah, he was pushing that public consultation, wasn't he? And it was quite successful, when he promoted that public consultation. So, yes, that is the way to do things. That's the way to do it. it's like that's where you place your order for what you want. But there are issues, there are concerns. Maybe it's a little bit kind of like, if you went into a Scottish National Party, SNP, Christmas dinner, and you were, Rishi Sunak, might not be well accepted, or Boris Johnson. What if Boris Johnson turned up with a COVID mask on, and a pair of, holly boxer shorts, with just nothing but his holly boxer shorts on, a COVID mask and a snorkel, and he knocked on the SNP Christmas party, and Nicola Sturgeon opened the door. Is that snorkel in your pocket? Are you just happy to see me? Would he be welcomed in? Oh, Boris, it's just a person to make the party more exciting. Come in. Oh, thank you, Nicola. Thank you. This is it. Would he be welcome? Or, would Alex Salmond come up to the door and, say, oh, no, you're not coming in here, mate? It's like, would he be removed from the party, by the bouncers? So, this is it. They're kind of like trying to remove or omit certain things, which they're not keen on or don't want, and they've got this excuse. But a lot of it's training. It's like it's a similar situation to, like, Apple and Amazon. They're turning down. I'm putting some music releases and they keep turning them down, saying, oh, but they're not acknowledging that there are political materials you can publish, and getting, you get authority deemed and express consent from the legislation, not from a copyright holder or another person, not from, the council or from someone else. You get it from the legislation. Well, you're not liable to, suffer anything for, using evidence. It's you're using it for evidence. This is the thing with these petitions. They're not regarding. They're trying to. The ministers are trying to judge your statements as if they were judging it in a live courtroom, but just within the petitions committee. Now, maybe they can get things action without a debate and so forth. But what they're doing is they're saying, whether it's one signature or 20 signatures, and then they're denying it, but they're not allowing you to get this compelling evidence of public concern. And because they don't want the public to hear your statement, whether true or false, or your evidence, whether right or wrong, and then make a judgment whether they believe it or not, like a jury does, and whether they support it or not, and then compel the ministers to action it. It's kind of like, it effectively is like, objecting to evidence being heard or shown in a courtroom, objecting to statements being read out or heard. And to say that, this is quite important and serious things, I've seen less objections in court. The amount of cases that get submitted to courts that could have, questionable or tenuous evidence. I know the CPS they're always the ones bringing cases, usually when it's criminal. But there's a lot of civil cases that, could have things that are unbelievable or unlikely to be believed, or, receipts could be faked or forged, or, it's for the judges to look at it and hear it. Now, how many of the cases submitted to a civil court, whether it's online or not, get rejected and not even get a hearing or a trial, whether or not they, agree or disagree? And the fact is, if you want to submit witness statements, it's kind of like saying that they don't even make it into the trial, or to a hearing. They just reject them being officially, submitted. Now, the thing with the petitions committee is they do publish all petitions that are submitted. Supposedly, mine's not been published on there. The one that was rejected for some strange reason. When it says rejected, But the thing is, that has officially been rejected. It gets published on there as a rejection, so it's kind of recorded and worded, and you can look at it, except for the ones that mysteriously aren't on there. But it wasn't, it wasn't. Is the reject? Are they saying that you did submit it? It did have a hearing, and they voted against it, the action. But it's not saying that they vote against the action, or they cancel out the action, or they don't debate the action, or they refuse to pass it through to. They're saying that they reject that it can't be. They're saying that you can't ask for it in many instances. That this is not something we can do, or it goes to another part of government. They're making it very, very tenuous and unclear what the actual status of a rejected petition is. Is the status that it's filed, it's recorded, it got looked at, and we just said, no, we don't want to do that? Or is it like, we don't accept that this has been looked at? It's not, because they're making it very unclear. Firstly, why it was rejected out, because they give a mixed. They kind of give like a mixed answer, and I know that Jeff's gone on to some more finer details, like when you go into it, and it gives more detail in there. But I've emailed them on many occasions, and they just, it's had a great amount of correct detail copied over from procedures in law, and the Lord Advocate can initiate criminal investigations, and the Lord Advocates in the Privy Council in Parliament, and many things like that, and they've just kind of like, sort of poof, they're not in, they don't want to, they don't like it. There are lots of kind of interesting and clever manoeuvres you can do through the legislation and asking for certain things, which could be quite effective, but they don't want to play ball with it. Either they're playing, they're pretending that, they don't understand it, or they just don't, and they should, which is why I think that this whole standards thing is a con. There is no standards when, 100,000 people want, investigation into Hillsborough, even if there wasn't any evidence to show, when a very, very large number of people want something, that there's evidence, the evidence is that a large number of people want something, regardless of what, the ministers think, or regardless of what, the facts say, or what may or may not be in reasonable doubt, they still want it looked at anyway. And the thing is, it isn't actually. This is the thing with the Inquiries Act is a really good example, because the minister is going to action the inquiry, but he hasn't investigated it. So how does he know when you submit the petition asking for it? How does he know whether it's false or libelous or correct or information if he hasn't an inquiry into it yet, or if it's still unclear what's going on? He's not. That's why he asked for an inquiry, because we don't know. But we're making a claim, and if lots of people agree with that claim, this is the thing. This is what a claim is. I think the petitions committee are effectively saying you can't make a claim. You're not allowed to claim. You see, if something was known to be fact beyond reasonable doubt, then why would you want it investigated? You wouldn't need an investigation because you'd know the answer, And this is, I think this is where they are with it, some things are, when it comes to making the law, there is no truth or falsehoods in law, because, if you want the law to be that, make it legal, to steal bread or not, it doesn't matter, about the statistics, the crime statistics or not, because if people want the law changed, it doesn't matter what the statistics are. If you're saying, oh, well, so many people, there were only so much percentage of crime last year, so we should get this law changed, and they say, well, it contains false or libelous information. But, if those figures are right or wrong, that's got nothing to do with the fact of whether you want the law changed or not. A lot of figures are wrong. The governments get their figures wrong a lot of the time. How about in COVID? So when it comes down to petitions committee claiming that your figures aren't right or your facts aren't right, but they've been getting facts wrong the whole time, all the way through, and running government on wrong facts. So they're absolutely pure, dire codswallop. And we need a change in the way this petitions committee is operated permanently. It cannot carry on to be run like this. Either they need to increase the capacity or the technology or the people. We cannot continue with their standards because, it just is, they're not being straight with us, and everyone can petition to their capacity anyway, a school, surely a school, child, a 16-year-old school child should be able to petition, they're not allowed to vote, but it doesn't, in the right to petition, there's no age on there. That's why I'm kind of confused about the suffragettes, with the whole women voting thing. All it says in, that petitions ought to be free. It doesn't actually say out about male or female in the right to petition, which is quite unusual. So, clearly women could, they had a voice through the petitioning process, even if they couldn't vote. Voting was only to elect a representative, wasn't it? Once an representative was elected, all women had a right to do petitions. So that was very unusual. I don't think the women were completely not able to act at all, politically. They could act politically. The petitions committee is obstructing a lot of people and a lot of things. And some people, it has to cater. It has to, it says they've got standards, but how does it cater for disabled people? They're wanting to bring more legislation in, and in Doctor Who, they're wanting, more characters who are disabled or, ethnic groups and so forth, But yeah, what happens if the person, who's submitting the petition is dyslexic or, got, what if they are, at the maximum capacity, like C or D level, is it going to permanently get rejected, or do they have to pay a lawyer to write up for them? Petition is meant to be free. We're going to get citizens' advice to write for you. The thing is that if you write a petition and you get Professor Tim Wilson to sign it, and Tess Lowry and Dr. John Campbell, and Tim Spector, Neil Oliver, those 5 signatures, and the petitions committee say that, we don't know what you're asking. They're on a tenuous claim because, you've got like 5 or more professional academic peers who have signed it and agree with what you're asking and understand it. This is the thing. I think that there is a lot of party politics going on behind the scenes, and they're using this standard as a blag. That is my gut feeling on it, and through evaluating their responses, and they're they're just kind of knocking it around as if, it's okay, it doesn't matter. World Health Organization are going to take all his rights away and, make everyone locked in their houses and not allowed out. Don't worry about it. It's okay. Just, it's all much ado about nothing to them, when actually it is more serious than, local criminal cases. In fact, there was a shoot up the other day in America where, some convicts just happened to be filming a police shootout against someone who'd stolen a car, right? And the guy who'd stolen the car was shooting at the police, and he shot one of them, and there was loads. It was like some sort of movie scene or something. All these cop heroes, and I'm like, well, why the police are looking for a gunfight? Why don't the police just, let him carry on stealing the car and just, track him from further away, and then get him, later on. Why do they have to engage with all this gunfighting? At the end of the day, even if they stole the car, it's insured. right? I'm not saying like let all car thieves steal cars, but a lot of these police crimes aren't solved anyway. And a lot of these more serious crimes like that aren't solved. I had my artwork go missing from Royal Mail, and that could potentially, be worth up to, £10,000 or £20,000. Boy George was asking £10,000 for a painting. Look at Banksy stuff, right? I'm not trying to say that my paintings are worth anything or not, but, they could be. And, there's no effort or investigation from Royal Mail at all whatsoever, right? Someone steals a car, could only be worth £10,000, and they get a fully fledged police shootout in the streets, like some movie scene, gun blazing glory. Just let it go. It's just a car, got an insurance, it's insured against theft, let them take it. And there's the cops going, "Oh, I'm shot, I'm a hero, where's Rambo?" I'll be back, it's like some sort of, then there's this convict guy, "Oh, am I helping you? I'm helping you, I'm an ex-convict, well, I'm helping the police, I'm a good guy, I'm helping the police, But, why, these police like the gunfights and actions, I think that, well, just, so what? It's just a car. Get another one, it's insured, and then, if anyone sees it again, why don't they just follow them with a helicopter, until they run out of petrol or until they get to where they're going, and then just leave the helicopter waiting over there and say, okay, we're in this area. But they want this, like, stupid, ridiculous highway shootout. How the fuck did that happen? Engage, like, woo, let's go, Mr. Driver. Like, been playing too much Chase HQ 2, too much, Grand Theft Auto, these American cops, I got a gun, let's go to a Broadway show. Yes, engage, let's chase, I'm like, what the fuck's all this shit about? Someone's just stole my fucking paintings from Royal Mail and they're meant to be, we're paying extra for tracking, like, where the fuck is it? I don't get no police investigation, nothing. Yet in America, it's a £20,000 car. If it's a £20,000 car, we'll have a shootout, we'll fucking shoot each other. Send the convicts in to help them, like some sort of computer game or Mark Zuckerberg in the metaverse. I'm like, no, the police in America want a shootout. They're looking for a shootout. Yeah, but he stole a car. Well, so fucking what? It's insured. Let him steal it. Fly the helicopter over him. It's not exactly got a fucking rocket launcher. If he had a rocket launcher and he was shooting the helicopter down, then maybe fair enough. Won't be Dutch Butch Cassidy cops chasing after the cunt, ramming him on the highway. Look, action man, woo, give me a medal, I'm a cop, bang, bang, this is the job, and oh no, I've been shot now, oh, pity the police, pity the cops, yeah, why the fuck, engage. No, you wanted the job. You wanted to be a big hotshot fucking shootout, Billy Yill Dilly Dally fucking cop sheriff shootout, fucking hotshot. Stole the car, and we'll follow it with the fucking helicopter, you docile twat, until he stops. No, engage. Like fucking engage bollocks. Where's engage with fucking Royal Mail? They can't even fucking find Postman fucking Pat. Can't even find fucking Postman Parcel when they're meant to have, like, scanning at every fucking point. But, if it's a car, it's a £20,000 car, not a £20,000 fucking caribou. Then we get fucking shootout, like fucking, and they're making the next fucking movie. They don't even need Ridley Scott. You don't even need movie directors now. You just got people walking around in America. Hey, look, there's a police shootout here. I'm making my own movie. Look at this. It's just bullshit. We're being bullshitted by these people. Meanwhile, daylight robbery in, the supermarket, Donald Trump, gets UPS, £40, £40 to send a parcel, like 100-gram parcel from America, 40 quid, that is robbery, daylight robbery. Nothing can be sent, but yet China, no import duty. You can buy stuff all day from China. Laser pen. Box of laser pens. A widget. The latest. all singing, all dancing, production line, get your own pair of trainers designed, come straight in the post, no import duty, cost you about 5p to get you sent over. What is Trump doing between America and England? Destroying the working class relationship. In fact, he did it so Jeff Bezos could make a killing on Amazon, and so no one was sending things from America, doing people favors for each other, making friends, relations overseas. None of that. Buy it from Jeff on Amazon, and Trump's probably got a share in UAP. I won't be surprised if Trump's got a share in UDP or DPS or UPS or whatever it is, making a killing for his golf course. No, it's all right for Trump to do favours for each other. It's Johnny Depp. Hey, Johnny, I'll pay for your legal case. It's all right. Or whether, you could have a get round of golf on my golf course. Don't worry, I'll buy you lunch, But, if it's an American, I'll buy you a little trinket off eBay. Do you a favour? No friends around here. No, we can't have us workers getting friends with each other overseas, making relations. That would be too good. They'll be having a good time. Donald, you got to make a lot of money on that. Got to make a lot of money, made a lot of money. No, Donald, I don't want to make money. I want the little fucking trinket from the internet. My friend's going to send it over. It's called friendship, Donald. Love. No, $40. I'm going to get $40 a box. $40 a box. It's not a fucking barrel of oil, Donald. $40 a box. All right, then I want fucking $560 for picking your golf ball up then and carrying it 3 meters. And putting it back on your tee for you. I want, $1,000 for that. We're getting skanked by these people. We're getting ripped off.